fantastic book. Hope you enjoy it. Jane, darling, you're a genius. We should get you to chair the group. But then you're a teacher and it's your job to help people, to take new ideas on board. No, you do it, and headmaster, you... No, don't start that yet. We're serious business on hand. But that's serious business too, you know. Well, later, perhaps. My visit to the palace went better than I had feared. Lucy had warned her mother that there was something rather horrid we had to tell her, and she seemed to be prepared for it. She agreed at once that the truth should go no further. It would be so much damage to the family, as well as to the church, if only they could keep it a secret. With an unexpected degree of composure, she readily authorized me to approach the vicars with our plans for the disposal of the epigene. I should ask them to provide a statement of its origins and inheritance, and to give formal permission to me to sell it. She sounded so grateful that I had become involved and that I had a trusted friend who knew all about auctions and how to go about them. Jane's idea about setting up a committee to include members of her family also met with her approval. It would be a good idea, she suggested, for me to chair the group and to have Hugo on hand at his clinic to help. Lucy told us that they had finally agreed to have him back, provided he kept his research within the law. I guess that having him involved might even bring them some extra work. She even agreed to think of setting up a charity to handle it and inviting donations from well-wishers to swell the funds. It would enable us to help more people in need. Now it was up to me to set things in motion. In a sense, I was amazed that we had come to an agreement so easily. If only diocesan committees could function so smoothly and reach their conclusions in such a positive and optimistic way. But that was another matter altogether. The following week, Graham came over to collect the epigene from us. He'd already contacted the original auction house and explained the situation at some length. Hello, viewers. They had apparently been satisfied and expressed their willingness to enter it into the catalogue for their next fine silver sale. It wouldn't be for a couple of months, but that would be ample time for us to get the baker's statement and to secure agreement from all 6 of us for the procedure we had outlined. Hello, viewers. Please submit if you liked it. The Clinic by Paul G. Brett. On the day of this auction, Lucy came with Graham and me and was obviously excited by the atmosphere in the room. When our lot came up, she could hardly contain herself. The auctioneer seemed excited too and introduced the item in glowing terms. Hello, Hector. Ladies and gentlemen, our next lot is a quite exceptional piece. Thomas Pitt's Epigene, London, 1760. It is not for nothing that we have featured it on the cover of today's catalogue. We know that he made a number of these centerpieces in the 1760s and 70s, but in our view, this one surpasses all the others in magnificence. Perhaps I should mention that there has been a certain amount of adverse publicity connected with this item, but that's all in the past. We have received a number of commission bids from here at home as well as from overseas, not least from America. So if you are ready, I will proceed. Graham and I smiled at each other, remembering the previous time this lot had come up and Madeline Baker's interruption. The controversy might even help to push up the price. So I can start at 10,000. Any advance on 10? Yes, thank you, madam. 12. I have 13, 14, 16. On the telephone, 20,000. That's more like it. 25, I'm bid. In the room, 26. 30 now. Anywhere? Lucy leant over to me and whispered, "Oh my God, Lee, it is really worth all that?" "Hush, Lucy, you wait. We're not finished yet, I'm sure of it." "Any more then?" "Yes, new bidder on the phone. Thank you, sir. That's excellent. It's a most exceptional piece, ladies and gentlemen. There's never been a more splendid item in front of us here at this house. Who'll give me 100 now? A ripple of laughter ran round the room at this exaggerated piece of encouragement. They were obviously looking forward to receiving decent auctioneer's fees. The more the merrier. Lucy was waving her hands about with the excitement. "Stop it, Lucy," I whispered. "Keep your hands down, or he'll think you're bidding. You haven't got a spare 100,000 to hand, have you?" "Oh, sorry, Lee, course not. But it's just so thrilling. Think what we'll be able to do. And Hugo making such a name for himself with it." "Well, maybe," I interrupted, "but please, hush now, please." "And are we all done?" The auctioneer was clearly wanting to bring the matter to a conclusion. "Any more anywhere?" "Yes, I see a new bidder at the back. In the room, then." At once the telephone bidder was back in. "Thank you, that's more like it." Then I saw the man behind us was at it again. There was a pause and suddenly another bidder on the phone. I looked around and saw the fellow at the back shaking his head. "So are we all done then?" "Last call. Any advance now on the gentleman on the phone? It's a Thomas Pitts. It's a fabulous epigene. Surely we shouldn't let it leave the country. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone else for this outstanding piece?" "No. Going then once, going twice. Your very last chance, ladies and gents. Selling them at—" I never heard that final bid. Lucy was battering my car in her excitement. I almost wondered if she had topped it all herself. And I saw that Graham could hardly keep still as well. I couldn't concentrate at all. Bang! The gavel hit the desk, and I was aware that more than one person in the room gasped at the result. In the pub afterwards, we were all three of us excited at what had happened. "This calls for champagne," I said. Two heads nodded vigorously in approval. "Of course, there'll be auction costs to pay, and they can be quite high, relatively speaking, plus VAT, you know." "Graham, you're up with all this. Will you go back afterwards and arrange to collect the takings for us?" "I will indeed. It'll be the height of my career." "But what about your idea of a charity to deal with it? You're going to call it the Baker Bois thing, I think you said. Has that been arranged yet?" "Well, I've been in touch with the Charity Commission people, and they are a bit fussy with this sort of thing. The relief of poverty is okay, and medical things, but there might be a problem with Hugo being involved if it helped his clinic to obtain more customers. We might just have to keep a private fund to help people where we thought it right. I thought there might be problems with that area, and who's going to administer it? We're thinking about getting Lucy and her husband, and Jane and me and the Bakers to receive applications and to make the decisions." "Good idea. You won't need me anymore, will you? I just sell the thing. You work out what to do with the cash." "Correct, Graham. You've done a great job." "Well, here's to the success of our scheme." We lifted our glasses, clinked them together, and whispered, so as not to attract too much attention, "To the Baker Bois bequest." I could hardly wait to get back to Frederica and tell her how we'd got on. It would be a fitting memorial to her husband and Lucy's father, albeit a rather private one. And Hugo could offer us his professional advice. Frederica could think that Rupert's ministry had not come to a bitter end with that awful crash. We would be continuing to help people, the poor, those in need, as a Christian pastor, from the heavens, as it were. Modern medical and scientific practices and his anxiety about it all had destroyed him, but she could think some good might come out of it in the end. The Clinic by Paul G. Brett on Amazon Co. UK. Hope you enjoyed it, viewers. Please sub me if you liked it. The end of the book.